up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So we got this week in Warframe, where we go over the entire weekly reset and basically what you can expect as a Warframe player this week. We got some pretty big stuff going down this week, so it's definitely a good time to be a Warframe player. Let's get right into it with the first weekly reset item. But before we do, make sure you sub this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads, everything from build videos, news videos, and the likes. You're in the right place for Warframe content. Alright, for your first weekly reset item, we got the Zal Riven Modification. Now, since we've got Protea Prime coming out on Wednesday, I would recommend not buying these relic packs from Teshin until Wednesday, because on Wednesday, once Protea Prime is released, these relic packs, and for that matter, every relic pack in the game, will be able to give you the new Protea Prime relics. And reminder, Khora Prime, Dual Carries Prime, and Hystrix Prime are being vaulted on Wednesdays. That means these packs will no longer contain Khora relics. So keep that in mind. On Wednesday, we got that Protea Prime coming out. And yeah, also the Velox Prime and the Okina Prime as well. Now, as far as additional, other things going on this week, we are still digesting that new dev workshop going over enemy scaling and balance changes. And I am actually going to probably go in a deep dive on stream tonight looking into it after we do all the weekly stuff. So yeah, they're going to be making enemies' armor have a cap, and they're also going to be increasing the enemy's overall HP. So they said they want to keep the time to kill the same or similar, but we'll see, because we don't have the exact numbers yet. It might be actually harder to kill enemies at level 10,000, which is what I'm actually hoping for, because I find it a little bit easy right now. Alright, going over the Archimedea's wares on the Duviri Dorma Zone. Let's see what we got. Now, of course, this is going to require Pathos Clamps to get these items. So if this is worth it to you, go ahead and do it. I don't usually buy these, but I do show these because these do rotate on a weekly basis. Got a Melee Riven Mon for 15 Pathos, a Forma Blueprint for 10, Exilus Weapon Adapter for 20, Orokin Reactor Blueprint. One of the only ways in the game to get this not for Platinum is right here. So you have one of these this week, and also 5,000 Kuva as an option. So yeah, the Orokin Reactor might be actually worth it to some people out there. But reminder, 20 Pathos Clamps is about 30-40 minutes of time or longer from doing those Duviri Aura Worm fights. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the Deep Archimedea and also the Nightwave. So, additionally guys, the Nightwave season does have an end in sight. On May 15th, the Nightwave season that we're currently on, like Nora's Remix Volume 4 or 5, whatever it is, will end, and on the same day, a new thing is happening. We're going to get a new Nightwave season on May 15th. So there will be a 2-hour downtime, and after that, it will be moving on to the next Nightwave season, okay? So if you want to get to level 30 on this current Nightwave season to get your, level 30 Cyandana, armor set, etc., you have, 2.5 weeks. Yeah, May 15th, this is going to be the Nightwave will end, and we'll have a new one coming out. That's, on a Wednesday, too. Alright, so as far as our Deep Archimedea this week, let's see what we have. Now, if you don't have this unlocked, it's going to require rank 5 with the Kavia Syndicate, and you don't have to do this. This is an optional mission for additional loot from your Netracell Search Pulses. Alright, so we got the first mission as Exterminate. The modifiers are going to be Fissure Cascade. Enemies rip into the mission, causing the enemy level to go up by 1 every 10 seconds. Destroy them to stop the level from increasing further. Okay, that's interesting. So fissures will make enemies gain levels every 10 seconds. So basically try to beat this as quickly as possible, or the enemies might get super high level. Someone's going to have to test later in the week if they can get to level 10, level 9,999 in this Exterminate, but that would be quite a bit of waiting. But still, pretty funny for our first modifier. Second modifier here is going to be enemies deal minus... It's a new one we got earlier this week. New modifier. Enemies deal minus 15% damage and take plus 15% damage, extra damage, but gain 15% movement speed, attack speed, and fire rate. So if you let these enemies stick around for too long, they're going to be getting a really high level and also dealing more damage to you than you're used to. Or rather, attacking you faster than you're used to. Think of it like Speed Nova a little bit. So yeah, that is a new modifier. They already threw that in here. And for the Elite Archimedea, an extra modifier, if you end up doing the Elite Archimedea, Rogue Arcanoids charge attacks pull enemies towards, or pull Warframes towards them. That's another, so 2 of these modifiers are newly added as of this week. So yeah. The dog enemies, when they do their charging lightning attack, it will pull your Warframe into the attack. So this should be an interesting Exterminate for sure. Moving on to the next mission, we got Disruption here. Another new modifier, all enemies target conduits. So these conduits don't have HP bars. So we'll have to see what this actually means. Are they going to give the conduits HP bars in this mission and then have the enemies attacking them. I sure hope not, because that could be very annoying. What I'm thinking it will be is all enemies will target the conduits, like they will walk over and like they will hang out around the conduit. So we'll have to see, because they, like I said, don't have health bars. It's a little bit weird since they don't have health bars, but we'll have to see how it actually plays out in mission. Second modifier, Rupturing Fragments will place Shuffling Fragments. So Rupturing Fragments, I assume, are exploding fragment enemies, like the arm enemies. So look out for when you kill them, they might explode on you. And for the Elite Archimedea modifier, all enemies have Overguard equal to 50% of their maximum health. So they'll be a lot tankier and they will not be affected by CC. So I have Sevagoth as one of my options, and Vauban for that matter. Gloom would not affect them until the Overguard's gone. Neither would Vauban's Vortex. So yeah, an interesting one. At least it's not the final mission for Disruption this time. And for the final one, we got Alchemy. Amphors will inflict their associate elemental damage while being carried. Yikes. So if you're carrying around a Toxin Grenade, you'll be taking Toxin damage over time. Be really careful with those Toxin Grenades. I mean, the Cold Grenade, too. You'll be slowed down, and it doesn't say status, so I'm assuming it means status chance, or status procs, too. So be really careful with those grenades, and maybe have a teammate ready to res you in case you do go down. Next modifier, Rogue Culverins equip weapons that deal 5 times damage to Overguard and Necromex. This is another new modifier as of this week. So if you got Styanax, you got Dante, you got whoever, like Frost and Rhino technically, even Calervo, they will be dealing 5 times the amount of damage to your Overguard than they normally do. Okay, so be careful about that if you're playing Dante. Shouldn't be too big of a deal, though. And for the final Elite Archimedea modifier, enemies' HP slowly regenerates. So you'll be taking damage while carrying the grenades. They're going to be dealing some more damage to your Overguard and your mech if you're in a mech. And enemies will be slowly regenerating HP. Thankfully, no modifier, we have to be within 15 meters to damage them. As far as the individual modifier, or personal modifiers you can turn on or off, gain 1 puncture status effect every time you take damage. That sounds pretty annoying with this Hazardous Goods one, where you're taking damage while carrying the grenade, so you're getting Toxin proc and Puncture proc, potentially. Knife Step Syndrome. Lose 2 health while moving. Jumping pauses the effect. It's not really as much HP loss as you think, but, in combination with all the other things happening, it might be a little bit annoying to some players. Remember, a health regen shard can offset this, and also, Overguard's going to be totally cheesing that pretty hard. Powerless. All abilities are disabled until the squad kills 50 enemies. Hey, what are you talking about? That's not a very nice one. Okay, so you can't cast abilities until you kill 50 enemies in any of these missions. So that's pretty rough. Everybody group up at the beginning and get those 50 kills, and then you can play the mission as normal. A very weird modifier for sure. There's going to be some complaints this week on that one, maybe even from me too. That's a very odd modifier. And then the final one, Energy Exhaustion. Lose 2 energy per second for each enemy within 10 meters of you. So that's a lot of energy loss. Make sure that you can jump really high up in the air and wall latch somewhere to get your energy regen, and then cast your abilities and then jump back down. But yeah, for example, me with Gloom on Sevagoth, if I play Sevagoth today, man, that's gonna be a massive energy drain, because Gloom drains per enemy as well, and then you're gonna have that stacked on top of that. So a pretty annoying week, actually. We got some new modifiers. I'm interested to see how this all enemies target conduits modifier goes. But yeah, guys, remember, you don't have to do all this stuff you don't want to. It's optional. But of course, you want the most loot possible, right? You have to do this in your eyes. No, but hopefully you have a good time doing this. Hopefully it's not too annoying. I'll be on stream doing this with people from chat as well. So if you want to come check out the modifiers, come on, stop by. All right, so good stuff there. Reminder that Bird 3 does have a shard. The Call shard has been moved to Bird 3, and it's a yellow Archon shard this week for 30,000 reputation. That shard also requires rank 5 of the Kavya Syndicate, so just be aware of that. Both those things that I showed you require really high rank with that new Syndicate. So, it's pretty high-level loot for high-level players is how I view it. Now, as far as the Duviri circuit and things like that, let's go ahead and take a look at the normal circuit and see what we got. So we have Octavia normal, Nidus normal, and Harrow normal. Man, these are 3 ones I find kind of annoying to farm in the first place. So the most annoying parts for Octavia come from Auric and Derelict Survival, I believe, and there's also a puzzle room on Lua, and then I don't remember the third one comes from, but a pretty annoying frame to farm, honestly. That could be a great choice. Her helmet ability is going to be Resonator, which throws on the Disco Ball. Enemies will follow the Disco Ball and not attack. Very good for, cheesing certain things. It's a very, very reliable CC source if the enemies are charmed by it. Nidus is also pretty annoying to farm. He comes from Infested Salvage on Eris. some of my worst memories of farming things in this game were farming Nidus, so you might want to go for him also. Or you want to choose one of these very carefully. His helmet ability is Larva, pulling all enemies together, making them very easily grouped up and easy to kill. And then we've also got Harrow, a frame. He used to come from Defection, so I think they moved him to like Kuva Survival instead. So he's probably not as hard as he used to be to farm, but still not the easiest to farm. His helmet is one of the best ones this week too. Condemn, chaining all enemies up and giving you a bunch of shields. As far as the most annoying one to farm, it's probably got to be Nidus to me as far as my terrible memories of farming him, but Octavia can be viewed as a very annoying one to farm as well. I'd say that you can't go wrong with any of these choices, but if I had to make the choice, I'd probably go for Nidus just because I have some really bad memories of farming Nidus back in the day. But yeah, guys, that's going to be your normal circuit. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Steel Path circuit. And yeah, the Torrent is gone, but you got some good stuff this week still. Reminder, if you haven't played in a while, if you have rank 9 Opportunity Intrinsic, you can go for things like Kuva or Ridvins instead of Incarnons. You already have these Incarnons. Alright, so we got the Akenbrunt Incarnon, the Soma Incarnon, the Vasto Incarnon, the Nami Solo Incarnon, and the Burstin Incarnon. As far as what each of these do, the Akenbrunt Incarnon will release, when in Incarnon form, it will launch Spectral Axes that deal decent damage on aerial attacks and slide attacks. Think of like really mini Exodia Contagions. I'm going to go ahead and say this is probably one of the least useful of the week. Not many people really use this. It can do some good damage. It can one-shot Acolytes, whatever, you know. But it's not really the most meta. Some of the top-tier Incarnons on this one are going to give you increased critical chance, so that's great. 50% chance for primary and secondary weapons instantly reload on kill. That's weird. You could maybe try something goofy with that. But it's not a very highly used Incarnon right here. Speaking of not highly used Incarnon, one of the most disappointing ones of the entire ever for Incarnons is the Soma Incarnon. This thing used to have a lot worse stats. It got buffed, but as far as what this does, the Incarnon form gives you increased status chance and multi-shot while also reducing fire rate. I believe it reduces the crit chance too, but there is a mod called Hata Satya for the Soma Prime, which gives you increased critical chance on hit, and you can stack that up pretty quickly with the Incarnon form. But yeah, it becomes a slash multi-shot shotgun in Incarnon form. It requires headshots to build it up, and the top tier Incarnons can give you some increased base damage, or some condition overload, or even some increased base critical damage multiplier. So decent Incarnon upgrades, just not it has very low base damage, unfortunately. And some of these other ones are kind of like, you know, with armor over 450 plus 40 years to punch through, that's great and all, but that's a pretty high amount of armor. On bleed kill, increased overshields, that's fun too, but again, that's less damage than the one that gives you increased punch through one with high armor. So not a great one this week for the Soma. The Vasto Incarnon, this one I do like, but keep in mind if you're someone that just only likes to use like AoE, you know, explode the entire room kind of stuff, this is very single target. But yeah, that being said, if you do want to use this thing, the Incarnon form becomes a, like, you know, fan the hammer, extremely high damage, single target pistol. Like it fires on like 6 bullets at a time, and yeah, it's really strong, just it only is like for one enemy at a time. You can get like a punch through Riven or throw a punch through mod on here to hit multiple enemies, but that's really not what this thing is meant to do. If you want to kill level 10,000 Thrax in one hit, this is pretty good for that. It's really good for Acolytes. It's just, you know, it's going to be hitting one enemy at a time. So hopefully I stressed that enough that this is a single target weapon, but it's a very hard-hitting single target weapon at that. So if you want to try out a hard-hitting single target weapon, go ahead and get the Vasto Incarnon. For the Nami Solo Incarnon, this one, now, at first I was like, you know, it's really just kind of boring, but it does get a lot of extra range in Incarnon form. You get plus 3 meters of extra range, and the stats on this thing are pretty powerful with the top tier Incarnons giving big status chance, hybrid stats, or purely crit. You also get some built-in attack speed with Brigand's Fury, 30% attack speed whenever you equip the melee, so that's pretty decent, and also, you know, fall off. Someone told me this is actually follow through, so you're going to be hitting almost every enemy for full damage with the melee weapon equipped, so that's great. And also with melee influence, you have so much range on this, you can proc a huge amount of enemies in a huge area with this. Throw on a range Riven, you're like 11, 12 meters of range. Pretty ridiculous, if you ask me. And then the final one is this is the best one, straight up. It's the best one. The Burstin Incarnon. This thing becomes a full auto, like 600 bullets, fire auto rifle when you go to Incarnon form, and it's really, really good for high-level missions. If you want to do a level 10,000 mission, level 9,999, Steel Path, this is one of your best bets, and you should definitely have this one in your arsenal if you don't have it already. It gets a lot of ammo. It has so much Incarnon ammo, it's crazy. The top tier Incarnons give you a bunch of critical chance. You also got some ones that give you increased Condition Overload, or on full burst hit plus 20% damage, resets on reload. I just usually use the crit chance one, to be honest. So as far as your best options this week, it really depends. Like, number one is definitely the burst in Incarnon. Number two is whatever is looking good to you. A lot of players have been really enjoying the Nami solo one this week, so if you want to try a really long-range melee that has good slash damage, try out the Nami solo. But maybe you want to get a secondary and a primary, then to go the Vasto Incarnon. Again, it's single target. Just keep that in mind. So, yeah, I'd say the number one, number two would probably be the Nami solo and the burst in Incarnon. Really crazy range melee with good stats and extremely good fire auto rifle that can just really do good stuff at high levels. Not that the other ones aren't usable, it's just they're not really as useful to me, at least. And that's going to be your recommendations for the week for the Incarnons. All right, so only got like 2.5 weeks left with this Nightwave. Let's go over the last couple weeks of challenges after we go over the Archon hunt. So we got the Archon hunt is the red Archon, the wolf. And as far as mission types, we got mobile defense, disruption, and the final boss showdown. So if you're doing that elite Archimedea, you got disruption here and the elite Archimedea. So you're gonna be playing a lot of disruption tonight, that's for sure. Good luck getting that Archon red shard that gives things like power, strength, duration, and like melee critical damage. These can become purple shards or orange shards. All right, so as far as the Nightwave challenge for those final couple of weeks, and a reminder, these rewards are kind of nice. If you, I prestiged that a lot, didn't I? We have the Nymore armor bundle, looks like ice crystals, and this Cyandana is really good. The Stealth Flare Cyandana, really, really nice. I use it quite a bit. But as far as your weekly challenges, open 30 lockers, catch 3 rare servo fish in the Orb Valis, kill 1,500 enemies as your first elite weekly, kill the Exploiter Orb, so the blue-green spider, not the Profit Taker, for your other elite weekly, and your permanent weeklies, kill 30 Eximus, complete 15 missions, and kill 500 enemies. A pretty easy week for the elite Archimedea, or the elite challenges here. For your cred offering store, they always love to change my sorting. We have the evergreen stuff at the top, as always. Got Kalervo helmet, that's pretty nice. Kalervo's cool. We got some frost helmets. We got multiple frost helmets this week. Got Gyre helmet and some other. We got Citrine helmet for that matter too. So lots and lots of helmets. They're good. Got the Protea Mauve helmet. Reminder, Protea Prime coming out on Wednesday. You might want to get a Protea. To me, the helmet doesn't look that great, so if you want to get a helmet, that's a pretty decent one right there. There's also a Protea Deluxe skin that looks pretty good. For Aura mod, you got Pistol Scavenger, Rifle Amp, Sprint Boost, and Loot Detector. As far as the best ones, Loot Detector is really good. Sprint Boost is really good too. Rifle Amp's okay, and Pistol Scavenger is not used. For previous Nightwave season augments, you got Wild Frenzy for the Garcata, giving you increased fire rate of 400% with a new alt-fire mode. Killing 2 or more enemies refunds 100% of the ammo. It does not refund it to the magazine, it refunds it to your ammo pool, so don't get too excited, like I did like 2 or 3 years ago when this came out. It does not refund it to the magazine like the Akikor augment. But it's still kind of cool. As far as Conclave augments, you got Purifying Flames for Ember, Skull Shots for the Viper, Prism Guard for Mirage, and Shrapnel Rounds for the Merlock. The only one that's really needed here is probably Prism Guard for Mirage, a very nice alternate playstyle for her 4th ability. Skull Shots with the Viper's kind of nice too, it gives you infinite ammo on headshot, but who's really using the Viper unless you're on like Duviri? So that's going to be it for most of your weekly reset, guys. There is a anniversary thing going on this week, but it's nothing crazy. There will be a double credit weekend in about 2 weeks. Oh yeah, the Stealth Flare Cyandana, I am currently using it. It looks really, really nice. As far as the weekly Invigorations, these are random per player, and if you want to unlock this stuff, you have to get Helminth Invigoration segment unlocked. It's rank 5 with the Deimos Necrolisk Syndicate, basically upstairs to Deimos, or you could buy it in the market for like 300 plat. Let's see what we got, though, for our random boss for the week. Okay, they really want me to play a Naros, the second Power Strength in Naros Invigoration in about like 3 weeks. So I got Ability Strength and Energy Max for this guy. I guess I'll remember to make a video on him, maybe? Probably not. But hey, if you're using Elemental Sandstorm, big power strength for that. If you're using any of his other stuff, like throwing on Roar for his Helminth, great for that too. Pretty decent. We got Gauss with primary critical chance and 1,000 armor. Man, who even armor on Gauss? What? He's like a shield regen frame. But either way, primary critical chance on Gauss is pretty nice. The armor is completely irrelevant, but still better than nothing, I suppose. And for the final one, we got Oberon. Remember Oberon? I hardly did. We got ability, range, and parkour velocity on Oberon. Yeah, this guy could use like a mini rework or a buff, I could say. But yeah, that's pretty decent. At least they're good stats, right? It's range and parkour velocity. I wish that was on somebody else. If that was on like Garuda or somebody, I'd be super happy about that. But either way, guys, hope you found this video fun and helpful. I'll be live on stream doing the Elite Archimedea. Let's see about that weird disruption modifier. And yeah, I'm going to hopefully get some Arcanes maxed out. We got Protea Prime on Wednesday. You know, save all your relic packs and your rep. Hopefully you get your rep saved up. Like, don't waste it before Wednesday, guys. So you can get tons of Protea relics the day they come out. And hopefully she'll be, you know, really nice. Hopefully those Akina Prime will be really powerful. Like, save your rep here, save your rep everywhere for Wednesday. I'll see you guys in the next video. Appreciate all the support and take it easy. Peace.